It is my distinct honor to welcome the siren of the ballad to our courtroom.
You are too kind.
Oh, you can speak English?
Yes, I can. Though I am not very good. There is much I do not know.
You speak so well. Have you spent time here before?
Actually, I do not know how I came by my knowledge of your language, nor where I studied it.
What does she mean? She doesn't know. I too thought the color is a weakness, but I did not. I had a reason, of course.
What's that?
Lemoire suffers from amnesia. Amnesia?
Lemoire is not my true name, yet I remember nothing of the time before I was given it. Nothing of the time before I started singing on stage.
Wow, she's even more mysterious than I thought.
As lauded singer Lemoire, she lives a good life. There are little difficulties for her thanks to her success. And yet, I did not wish to subject her to unnecessary stress. I see. Also, apparently Claver and Lemoire are from the same country because they both have the same accent, they just sound different. I care surprisingly little about people's past. You have nothing to fear in this court, Lemoire.
Thank you. Yet there is something I do not understand. I am being called as a witness. What might I say? No one will tell me anything of what happened.
Lemoire, let me be frank. I did not want to ask you up here to testify. Yet that young gentleman with the wide forehead over there was adamant that you stand.
Oh my.
Congratulations, Apollo. You're the bad guy.
Ugh. Well, now that you're here, please give us your testimony. If nothing else, the sound of your voice is welcome. Tell us what you saw the night of the crime.
I mean, like, Lemoire, Machi's the one that's being accused of the crime. Don't you want to help him? Even if it means... Well, I'm not saying she should lie, but, like, she should try to give out some information of some sort in hopes that, like, it can be helpful, right? She doesn't know that. She doesn't know what would be helpful.
As for what I saw nothing. That night, I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. I did not return backstage after the second set. Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gawan's dressing room, and told to wait there. That was when I learned that something had happened, but I wasn't told the details.
I must say, you sound wonderful just testifying.
I hope he was too distracted to hear what she was actually saying.
And there you have it. She saw nothing that night.
How did I try? I feel like now because I'm doing Lemoire's voice, and it's like I'm like unintentionally mixing it in with Claver's, but I don't remember how I did. I feel like it was different. Shit.
And now we can only pray that the defense has the sense to admit defeat, and refrain from detaining her any longer than need be, or whatever. Fuck it.
Wow, you just got better, Apollo. Way to go.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Keep it short and sweet.
Lemoire wouldn't talk to me that night of the crime. She must know something, and I've got to find out what. Bum 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 bum. And so what I saw shit. But you must have seen something. Mr. Latouche named you.
Mr. Latouche? How can I tell you what I don't know?
Lemoire, he said you were a witness with his dying words.
I do not know what he meant to say, but that night I was invited to sing on stage, and this I did. This I swear.
It was a great concert.
You heard me sing. Thank you.
I was hoping to get an autograph later, actually.
You fucking... Apollo, you piece of shit. You call her on stage. Whatever.
Of course.
Mr. Justice, this is a cross-examination. You're out of line. If anyone deserves an autograph here, it's me. One on my gavel would be nice. What an honor. El Judge. What's this? It's my autograph. Now keep this trial moving. What? Oh, my grandchild will be so happy.
Apparently his grandson is a big fan.
Let us continue, shall we? If you would, Lemoire. Tell us what you did after your stellar performance.
I did not return backstage after the second set.
You did not return backstage once? Where were you then? And what were you doing?
I was cleaning up on stage. There were many things I must do for a performance other than simply sing.
And was Machi with you at that time?
Unfortunately, I do not know where he was.
So much for an alibi for Machi.
Wait, Machi's blind, right? So where did he run off to when she was cleaning? Shouldn't they have been together? They even said that they were stuck together. Whatever.
Then I was led by the police to Mr. Gavin's dressing room and told to wait there.
With Machi, correct? How was he then?
He seemed as he always does, though I believe he was shocked by the news of Mr. Letus's death. Yet, he is not the type to show much emotion.
Yes, he's given the police no end. Oh god. Sorry? Yes, he's given the police no end of headaches. He answers most questions with silence, and those glinting frames speak nothing. The questioning hasn't gotten very far.
We sat there waiting.
Lemoire, you should have pried him for answers or something. Unless he was just speaking wingdings and you just chose not to translate it. That was when I learned that something bad happened. I was told the details.
How was the incident explained to you?
I was told nothing in detail, only that Mr. Letus died.
Of course, investigations require some security. Oh god, I have to sneeze. No.
Woo. At least it came out this time as opposed to before when it fucking tricked me. Alright.
But Mr. Letus was my manager. I wanted to know more. I should have been told. Both Machi and I were beside ourselves with concern.
Allow me to apologize, but please understand. Keeping you in the dark was as painful for me as it was for you.
Yes, I understand.
Think, what doesn't ring true about her testimony?
It's hard to imagine Lemoire lying.
She might not be lying, but she's hiding something. What wouldn't she tell me the night of the murder?
The only thing I can think of is this sentence, but is it the brooch? Found at the crime scene. Turns out it belongs to Lemoire. Anything? Examine.
A sort of pin fastener for attaching things to clothes. Not a safety pin type though.
So if it's not a safety pin, is it a danger pin?
I suppose if you stuck it in your eye, then yeah, sure. But you could do that with a safety pin too, for that matter.
Thanks for taking the fun out of my danger pin.
Oh, you're driving a danger pin through my heart here.
Oh god, I love them. Anyway,
I wanna say this. Is it this? What would it be?
I mean, that's the only thing we have, right? Right? I'm gonna try it. We'll see. Let me see this. Hold up. What does it say? To ensure the efficiency and secrecy of our investigation, the bearer is hereby ordered to speak to no one outside the investigation concerning any details of the case. Oh, so it's not a request for us to be allowed to investigate it. It's that they request for their investigations and not for us to investigate. Okay, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna... Okay, so this was right. That's kind of hard. Even though I knew, I kind of had an inkling of what the answer is. That's hard to guess, isn't it? Whatever.
I'm sorry, Lemoire, but I'm having trouble believing you. You remember this brooch, do you not? Why that's Lemoire. She was wearing it for her song. Care to add that to the testimony, Prosecutor Gavin? What? This brooch was found after the murder took place, at the very scene of the crime. What?
I mean, technically it was on the other side of the room where the scene of the crime was, but fine.
Lemoire, how did your brooch get backstage if you did not go there yourself? And as Prosecutor Gavin just told us, you had been wearing it during your performance that night.
Such a fucking fun touch that turns into a question mark when it flipped up. Oh god. What is the meaning of this? Lemoire, please explain.
Lemoire? Wing ding, wing ding, wing ding. She says English is quite difficult. That trick is not gonna work here. Wing ding, wing ding, wing ding, wing ding, wing ding. Your forehead may be large, but you are a lawyer truly. But you have missed one important fact. What now? A wing ding, wing ding, wing ding, wing ding. Come on, please stop singing in wing ding. In fact, at the time of the incident, I went backstage, but only for a moment. Also, he speaks wingdings? Or rather, he speaks Borjanese? When did he learn to speak Borjanese? What? Wingding. Think back to the moment of the crime. You know whereof I speak. Is she really saying all that? What's she talking about, Apollo? Right when the incident occurred. Is she talking about that? Watch this room for me. I have to call for backup. Right, understood. You want me to make sure no one comes in, right? Mr. Latus, can you hear me? Cold, so cold. Witness. You're cold? Don't worry, you're gonna be fine. Help is on the way. The witness is Siren. Siren? How can a siren witness witness? What? How can a siren witness anything? Hey, Emma? What was that? Who's there? What's wrong? Emma, did you see anyone just now? Huh? No. I could have sworn I heard a door close. How could she not have noticed anybody walk in? Or how did she not recognize how did she not spot anyone opening that door? It's a hallway. It's not, that doesn't make any sense. Just a glance, mind you. So this is when your brooch dropped. That explains that.
It does. There was no other time I could have dropped it.
But that's ridiculous! You only looked in an instant and you dropped your brooch? Air forehead. She has raised a possibility. The only thing that can counter that is evidence. So she looked in the crime scene.
Actually, I intended to go into the dressing room. I knew nothing of what had happened, of course. But the moment I opened the door, I heard a horrible voice.
Air forehead shouting, "Who's there?" No doubt. A horrible voice indeed. Hey, hey, hey! Fair point.
I closed the door immediately.
Hey, what? That doesn't make any sense! That doesn't make, how did Emma not see anyone and the door opened? Well, that explains the brooch. Let's return to your testimony. That's too convenient. She's hiding something. Lemoire, you did look into the room though, right?
Yes.
Testify as to what you saw.
Very well, though it was only the briefest of glimpses. When my performance was finished, I went backstage for just a moment.
Oh, I can press my bracelet, but to what?
I saw nothing. The late Mr. Latus's body was behind the wall, and then I was led to the
Okay, so this time around, I don't have anyone. Is it that? Let's see. Is it? I remember there was something here to. Okay, there. She gulp. See, this would, if you didn't know, like if you went into this blind, that would be really hard to figure out, right? Because you would have to like go through at least 2 sentences worth of perceiving, just and then try to figure out what you had to look at. That would have been fucking hard. Oh my goodness. Well, it's a good thing I knew the game. The late Mr. Latus's body, you say?
Yes.
You know something more about Mr. Latus's death than you were saying.
What?
I could see you trying not to remember, but the effort made you swallow. Because God forbid you have spit building up in your mouth, Apollo. God, I hate this. Like, it's cool for Apollo to have like a superpower or something, but God, it's such a stupid power. It's so stupid. You can't fool my eyes.
It is true. It was so terrible after all. Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot?
One moment, Lemoire.
Yes?
What was that you just said? Why did Mr. Latus have to be shot?
Yes?
She was hiding something. I knew it! Lemoire, I'm afraid you haven't realized it, but your words just now contradict your testimony.
How could that be?
Take this! Lemoire contradicted her own testimony and I have the evidence to prove it! Is this piece of paper? I think? Okay. Tell me, Lemoire, how did you know that he had been shot?
Well,
Immediately following the incident, a gag order was placed on the scene. This is the document proving that. In your testimony, you told the court, "No one told me anything about the incident." Furthermore, I mean, why did I try giving him an accent? You testified that you had seen nothing. Yet you knew that Mr. Latouche had been shot. How could you have known?
Yark!
That doesn't sound like a thing that Lemore would have eked out. She should have been like, eek! Lemore! You aren't hiding something from the court, I hope? That sweet song of hers was sounding a little too sweet.
Now I remember. Please, allow me to add to my testimony.
Of course. All we want to know is the truth.
She looks kind of pale, huh?
She saw something. I know it. Even the victim said so.
I saw bullet holes in the wall and knew Mr. Latouche had been shot.
Huh. Only a glimpse, yet you knew they were bullet holes?
Yes, I recognized him immediately. I have seen bullet holes before, you know.
You have traveled the world as a singer. You must have sung in places far more dangerous than our country.
I go wherever my voice is needed. Those places are many these days. That's really cool! I hope I get to travel like Lemore someday.
I plan on recording my next album overseas. Their studio have a different sound, you know. Maybe I should go on a Court of Steel tour too. Ain't no one fucking gonna go see you. I mean, I'll see you, but... It's something to do with this, right? Where's the crime scene diagram? Check. Oh, she couldn't see it because the door would have been blocking it if she only glanced in. Weird, I didn't think that door opened that way. Whatever. That's fine, I got it. Got you, fam. Lemore, they call you the siren of the ballad, but lies are hardly becoming of such a creature. A put-down worthy of a prosecutor, Mr. Justice.
Such put-downs are hardly becoming of you, Apollo.
Stop polishing your forehead and start polishing your character, yeah. Oh, come on, can't they be cool for once? I think you're cool, son. Observe the diagram. Lemore, you looked in from the door for just a moment, correct?
Yes, that is so.
There were bullet holes in that room, yes? But they were in the wall the door was on. You see, assuming you merely glanced into the room, you couldn't have seen the bullet holes. Yeah, good. Lemore?
Yes?
I'm afraid the defense has raised a good point. For some reason, I can't get my voice. I feel like whenever I did the judge's voice, it was much more gravelier. Not gravelier. Like there's a bit of roughness to it, but I can't seem to get it. I don't know if it's because like maybe the boba is like greasing up my throat too much to do it. I don't fucking know. It sounds wrong in my head. It appears you have been holding something back.
And I must tell you what it is that I saw?
Yes. The happenings in this trial are being recorded, and I'm certain it will be on the news in Virginia. You understand your reputation is at stake. It falls to you to avoid tarnishing it. I mean, she's not the one who killed him, I think. I hope. Personally speaking, I still believe that cross-examining her will yield absolutely nothing. But she knew how Mr. Latouche died, and he named her as a witness. You must have seen something, Lemore. Very well. Lemore, please continue your testimony.
Very well, I shall.
What I Saw 2. It's a sequel.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it. But it wasn't Machi. It was a grown person. I know it was.
Oh, bitch! So you did witness the crime, and the killer was a grown person, you say? Ugh, this is my first time hearing this, I assure you. Nice play, Elf Forehead. Very well, Mr. Justice. You may begin your cross-examination.
Great going, Apollo. You were right about Lemore. What's wrong? You don't look too happy.
This whole thing smells fishy. That's what's wrong. Okay, so I think he must sense that there's a contradiction. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage. I just press everything. So you were heading towards the dressing room?
Yes.
So this is a little before she opened the dressing room door and dropped her brooch. About the same time Emma and I heard those shots.
I was on my way back. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
What exactly is something like a little window?
Yes, well, window is the best word I know in English. I think this is how it is said, yes.
You need not worry, Lemoire. Your choice of words is impeccable. There is a small window in the dressing room in question. Perhaps the defendants remember the detail. That little window on the wall.
I saw the crime from there. There were 2 shots. I couldn't do anything to stop it.
You're certain you heard 2 shots fired?
Yes, quite certain. I was on my way to the backstage exit. This was when I heard a faint sound, like a gunshot. Wondering what it had been, I peered through the window. That is when I heard the second gunshot, much closer.
And there were 2 bullet holes at the scene. No contradiction so far.
It all happened on the other side of that window. There was nothing I could do. But it wasn't Machi.
I'm gonna assume I don't need to press that?
It was a grown person. I know it was.
A grown person? That's a little vague.
I am sorry. My skill with your language is lacking, I know.
Certainly you could at least see whether the shooter was a male or female.
It was a man. A young man.
And you're sure of that?
Yes, his voice was quite clear.
Voice? Looking at this diagram, it seems the dressing room was quite cluttered. It does seem likely that you wouldn't have a clear view of the shooter. Technically, you're looking from that window. You should see something. It's a window. It's not like it was... I don't know, whatever. Maybe that window's dirty.
As a singer, I rely more on my ears than my eyes. When I hear a voice, I do not forget it. That voice was the voice of a man.
So you heard a voice, but wait. Couldn't that have been the victim, Mr. Lettuce?
Absolutely not. Did I not just say that I do not forget a voice? If it was Mr. Lettuce who spoke, I would have known.
Indeed. So you were at the window and you heard the shooter's voice, the voice of a young man.
Apollo, this is a good testimony. That proves it wasn't Machi.
Oh, is it maybe... Indeed. If this turns out to be true, it would cast this case in a considerably different light. What is the defense's opinion on this testimony? Is there evidence to show that the window was closed? Or like, is there a way to show that the window was closed or something? I'm assuming that that's what he's questioning, right? I don't have any evidence that would indicate that though. I wonder if it's just a... Let's see. Though it pains me to say this, there's something about Lemoire's testimony that rings false. Bravo, Ale Forehead. You're colder than I thought. I'm sure you remember what the problem is as well as I do, Gavin. As has been established, no grown man could have passed through that air vent. He couldn't have fled the scene of the crime. But that means Lemoire has to be lying. I know, and I know it's bad for our case, but I can't shut my eyes to this. Believe me, the idea was tempting. It is as Ale Forehead said. And yet, this is not the only contradiction within her testimony. What's next? What's he talking about? Oh. Sorry, did I jump the gun a little too fast? Lemoire, I understand why you would want to protect Machi. Yet remember, you are the siren of the ballad. And lies do not become such a creature. What does the prosecution mean? Apollo, what's he talking about? How come no one bats an eye when he says stuff like that? That's fun. I recall the state of the crime scene quite well. The state of the room? Yes, and when the murder took place. That window was closed. I find it hard to believe you could hear a voice through it.
What? But I'm sure...
Lemoire, I have nothing but the highest regards for your musical sense. but my opinion of you as a witness is somewhat lesser.
But she's the only eyewitness we have!
So you say, and the victim named her, the siren, as the witness?
That's right! That's what Mr. Latus...
We heard your claim. We even entertained the possibility. And it brought us to this. Judge.
Yes?
The prosecution requests that the witness be excused. Please.
I'm afraid I must honor the prosecution's request. There is indeed a question of the witness's credibility.
But if Lemore can't testify, then we don't have a chance of proving Machi's innocence.
This cross-examination is over. Prosecutor Gavin, you may continue making your case.
Donkey. Oh, I doubt that's how you... Let me Google. Google! Google! Google is your friend. Or it's my friend.
Danke.
Danke. It almost sounds Mandarin.
Danke.
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 Danke. See, I knew it wouldn't be donkey. I was like, donkey? I mean, I'm sure if there was actually a word in German that's pronounced like donkey, it just wouldn't be donkey. I already forgot how to pronounce it! Danke. Like that, right? Whatever. Now, where were we? Yes, I would like to hear from Fraulein Detective again.
Wait, let me hear Lemore's testimony one last time!
But the cross-examination is already over. Until such a time as needed arises. This witness may leave the stand.
I am sorry, I could not be of much more. I am sorry I could not be of more assistance.